Hello everyone, my name is Tom and I'm a technical sales engineer, and today I will show you about some content 3D object in Allplan in advance when you use Allplan software into your work, some kind of your architecture to use the 3D object. And welcome everyone um, to join this webinar today. And I will start here. And I will notice to you that if you have any question, please kindly leave your question into the box, and I will show you after the webinar content. So the content today I will show you is we have four content. So the first will be I will show you how to convert between projects, and how can we apply that into our drawing. And the part two is how can we manage and we can determine about the elevation statistics of 3D objects in Allplan. And part three is I will show you about the introduction of 3D modeling tools. And the last one is some examples I will show you in videos from Allplan of about 3D objects building in reality, and we can apply that into our work. So we move to the first one is how can we convert between objects. And as you can see, this is some format converters that we can use in Allplan. And as you can see in the first picture, that is some tools to show you about convert elements and some 2D elements like polyline or spline or surface element. And we can find and replace some 2D into 3D objects. And the other is we can convert view to the 2D, and we can replace label style, smart symbol, and smart path. And then we can conversion for the building iteration work and demolition object, and for the new building object. And what is the detail? You can see that we can have conversion mode into our drawing, like architecture to 2D and UD element to 3D solids. And you can apply 2D to the 3D lines and curves, and from 3D curves to the 3D polyline. And especially we can apply bridge civil engineering, and we can apply everything about some kind of like precast in the construction to be the 3D solids. And you can see that the general 3D element we can convert to the 3D solid and surface. And the other is 3D to 2D, and the rooms to 2D polylines. So so why we need convert between 2D and 3D objects? So as you can see, on plan we have in Allplan we have conversion list, like some source object to the final object. And you can see the purpose to convert from architecture to 2D is we can indirect 2D to check objects variables and convert them to the symbol to the complex lines and shape. Just like you have a line and you have polylines, something like that, and spline. Yes. So you can change and you can convert that into the more complex lines and shafts if you want. And we can change the UD to the 3D solids. 3D solids mean, that is the block as we can create into the modeling. Yes. And we can convert to 3D solids for processing complex shapes. And we can convert also from 2D to the 3D lines and 3D curves also. And the purpose is that the steps to convert 2D is that dimensions to 3D. Yeah, and about on-plan bridge, we can convert from the bridge just the basic into the 3D solids about bridge also. Yes, this is related to the on-plan bridge, as I mentioned. And the next is that we can convert from general 3D elements to 3D solid and 3D surface. And the purpose is we can have the thicker mesh object increase detail, but it will be more laggy. Yeah, so we need to be considered about this because the 3D solid and 3D surface, when they appear into the modeling, this may be a little bit lag. Yes, and next we can convert from the 3D to the UD elements because it makes normal 3D objects easy to calculate material and volume. As you know, when we have a takeoff quantity, that is the easier way to calculate material and volume for the QA/QC department. And the last one is we can convert from the rooms to the 2D polylines, like we converting 3D to 2D. This is very simple about some functions in the on-plan, as you can see about this. And the next, this is you can see this is the example of how to manage 3D objects. The picture you can see now is some kind like the block that you can manage into the on-plan modeling, like some global and some the other special block, like the box, yes, some kind like the road, and you can create more especially objects for yourself. And the next is how can we manage 3D objects in on-plan effectively. First, we need to convert to user-defined objects. And how is the purpose? Because we can make the support to adjust the material rendering of 3D objects. And from there, we can declare the properties and statistics later. As you can see, I mentioned before, this is the process from the conversion mode in on-plan, and we can apply this into our modeling. Next, the second step is we can assign properties to the user-defined objects. And as you can see, this is the modify attributes functions. We can apply attributes, as you can see, in especially about symbol into the contract and the other material, as you can apply this into your building or into your work, your site, your construction. Yes, and we need to have object name and material related work also. So the next we have the third step. It will be we can generate statistical reports for the objects, and actually this we can have the overview of the objects, and as you can see on plan we can make um, some statistic about the objects into the slide. You can see we can list about the subject from the building with the orders materials, and how many quantity they have, and we can have summary about the orders, and how many cubic meter we have, and yes, we can disassemble the mass of undeclared objects, and we can statistics on or by desired group if you want. Yes. And the next about the introduction of 3D modeling tools. This is you can see this is advanced modeling tools, and this is some kind of the functions in the window of Allplan that you can use for creating some 3D objects. And this is some tools to create curves in space, as you can see in the left side. And in the right side, you can see this is a more complex block generator. Yes, and the next we can see we can change the line to determine slope into the curve in the plane, and you can see we can create the complex curves or line in space, like the picture in the right. At the right is the bidirectional curves in space. You can see, and then we can determine that into your work or your building, especially in everything about 3D objects in your building. Yes. Next, we can create the curve and facial sweep tool, like some tool icon. As you can see, that is extrude long path, sweep path, and loft. So what is the features of them? Is they extrude to be allowed to scan a plan along a straight axis, and beside that, the extrude along path we can see we can use to scan a section along a curve, but the middle of the plan is always parallel. And the sweep path is very special, like we can create the 3D solids that go through cross-sectional and predefine the path. Yes, and the last one is the Lofts tools. Their features is to create 3D solids from scanning selected parallel sections. Yes. Yes, and the final part, I will show you some examples of 3D objects building in reality. As you can see, the picture is, I will show you like some kind like the routing block with a pattern. So how can we create this, and how can Allplan how Allplan can create some pattern into the routing block as your building needs some kind like the special architecture building. Yes. So we now we will see how Allplan can do that.
With the integration of the world's leading parasolid modeling kernel from Siemens PLM software, Allplan provides completely new options in the area of 3D modeling. You benefit from greater freedom when creating volume and surface models, while also increasing precision. In addition to extended functionality in the tool palette, the Parasolid Modeling Core also gives you increased and accelerated rendering quality in the animation window. Avoiding polygonization increases precision while also reducing memory requirements. Allplan's performance is improved with much faster calculations in Boolean operations and other 3D modeling processes.
Yes, based on the base, they can create.
With 3D design, you reduce the risk of errors and benefit from greater efficiency. Unrestricted modeling with total freedom and precision.
At the last, they can have Allplan.
The Parasolid modeling kernel ensures compatibility throughout the entire planning process when exchanging data. The Allplan BIM solution supports you effectively with the Parasolid modeling kernel in developing your projects and enabling you to accurately render, exchange, and implement your projects. Allplan provides maximum freedom of design and is the ideal planning tool for creating a digital building model as the basis for your BIM work.
Okay, as you can see, they paste on the base of the block, and they can create the top into the block at the bottom, and then they can create the rolling block with the patient as you can. And yes, you can imagine like based on our tools, we can create the products like that. And the next, I will show you about the next example. It's the complex bridge and some kind like the ramp model into the building. If you want to design some kind of ramp into the construction site with Allplan, yes. And now we can see how Allplan can do that.
In Allplan, the Extrude Along a Path tool is responsible for extruding a profile as prepared here along a curve to create an enclosed volume. The curve here describes the line of the bridge in terms of the ground plan and height. The Extrude Along a Path tool is used here to extrude the profile along a path. This creates a volume. If you allow the volume to develop, it's possible to activate an enclosed volume, as is required in this case. You can create inner profiles. We select 5 in this example. The modeled bridge can be checked from every perspective. Where a solid is created using the Extrude Along the Path tool, you then have a variety of options to edit it subsequently. For example, a bridge end can be marked through point modification and drawn out a little longer. Other points, such as at the other end of the bridge, can also be modified to expand the cross-section somewhat. This occurs on both sides. In addition to this, each individual point can be selected and individually adjusted, as can be seen here on the lower corners of the bridge.
Okay, so you can see that they can create the bridge and make it more complex, like um, to increase the range of the bridge, and you can scale about the length to the bridge, and more like that you can do it very well, and maybe they have many functions and many tools you can do with the bridge, uh, more convenience with your needs into your projects. And next we can next to the sample tree, we can see how the building house structure. We can locating some patient into the house, and based on some architecture, some architectural style with your house, and how can you decor into the modeling in Allplan. And now we can see how can Allplan do that.
The Lofts tool in Allplan allows you to model objects from different cross-sections. An in-part organically shaped surface is modeled from cross-sections in order to create a facade. You can select individual cross-sections with the Lofts tool and generate an object from these. You can also adjust the starting points of the respective cross-sections subsequent to this, depending on the alignment of the cross-section. The Lofts solid then reacts to the adjustment of the starting points on the particular cross-section. You can use round shapes to create the Lofts solid, or generate it in a linear fashion. The round shape is exploited here. As you can see, a curved shape has now been created. The Lofts solid can, of course, still be edited subsequent to this. We use the Extrude function for modeling in this case. A cylindrical object is subtracted from this reference plane. If the modification is inadequate, you can still modify points from the right elevation to design the entire shape with the appropriate height. Aside from the adjustments described, other modification options also exist. For example, you can realize the Boolean operation by subtracting further cylinders from the loft object. The Boolean operation can be realized as soon as the cylinders have been created. All the other cylinders are now subtracted from the loft solid. What remains is the desired facade design.
Yes, you just have experience about building house structure, and you can decor the basement, what locate of them, and according to your needs about the architecture decoration, you can apply this into your building with Allplan. And next, I will show you some the others examples about 3D objects in Allplan. And as you can see, we can create whatever we want. And now I will show you step by step how can Allplan can create about this. Leon question, did you experience any problems while we convert 2D to 3D? Is very smooth about the Allplan functions when we apply to convert from 2D to 3D, and just like the AutoCAD into the Allplan, yes, some kind like the drawings into 2D import and we convert to 3D is not many problems, and we can paste on that and we can design for them for yourself. Yes, and now we are keep going on about the other symbols about 3D objects in Allplan. So I will show you how can Allplan can handle this.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this Allplan Pro Tip. In this video, we're going to talk about bringing in 3D solids from other programs. And these could be objects that you've created in the past, downloaded from an online database like this one, or obtained from a manufacturer. So I'm going to go ahead and just delete this one so that we can start over and take a look at the full process. Now, if you already have the file that you want to import into Allplan, you can simply drag and drop it in from Windows Explorer. Now notice that if I hover over this object, my tooltip is telling me that this is an instance of a smart symbol. So some files will come into Allplan as a symbol, and this one's coming in from SketchUp, and so there's two things we're going to notice about this one, and the first is the symbol. In order to work with it in Allplan, the first thing we need to do is unlink the symbol. So I'm going to right click on the object here, and I'm going to select Unlink Smart Symbol. Now I'm going to choose the second option since there's two of them. And here in the Unlink Smart Symbol Properties dialog, I need to make sure that I change this to fully. Now I'm going to right click to confirm, and then I can simply escape out of the command. Now if I hover over my object, notice that it says it's a 3D surface. So this is the second item that we need to pay attention to depending on what file type is brought into Allplan. So since it's a 3D surface, it's not going to have any volume information. I can easily turn this into a 3D solid by using our Boolean operations. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a box. So I'm just going to use the box command in Allplan, and I can simply draw my box encompassing the entire structure. So make sure that the box fully encloses your structure. Now I can use the Create Volume from Intersection command. Select first the box, then draw a window around your structure to make sure that you select all parts of it. Right click to confirm, and now I have my 3D object. And if I hover over this, I can see the tooltip indicating that it's a 3D object. And I can also right click on this object, take a look at its properties, and you can see that it does have volume information. So you can now use this to calculate a weight. You can put this into your reports, into tables on your drawings. You can use it any way that you need to. So now let's take a look at a second option, and we're going to bring in a file from a manufacturer. Now a lot of manufacturers actually still have their objects in older drafting programs. And so you might see a step file extension or an IGS file extension, and you may need to go ahead and convert those from those file formats to one that Allplan can take in. And to do that, there are a lot of free CAD programs that you can download off of the internet that will convert those file formats into an DXF, a DWG, or an IFC, or something else that Allplan can take in. So once we have that file converted, I can simply drag and drop it into Allplan. Now this conversion process might take some time, so just be patient. There is a lot going on in the background to take it from that older solid program that was converted to a DXF or DWG, and that's now being converted to Allplan. Okay, so you can see once you have it done, here's my part, and notice that again, all of these are tiny little 3D surfaces. And so the program that it was created in and then converted from, again, doesn't really give me a true solid object. These are actually created through surfaces. And here in Allplan, we want to convert it to a solid object. Now in this case, this creates a lot of tiny little 3D surfaces, and sometimes that can be difficult for the program to convert into a solid using our Boolean operations. So one trick that you can do to get around that is to first resize this to a much larger size and then shrink it back to its original size. So I'm going to use the resize tool. I'm going to leave this as a factor, and I'm going to draw a window over my entire object. Now I'm going to just click somewhere to define the reference point and then factor it by a very large size. So I'm going to say 1,000. And do that in every direction, X, Y, and Z. So you can see now that's much bigger. And now I'm ready to repeat the same steps that we saw before in creating my box. So I'm going to select the box command. This time I'm going to use my elevation view to set my Z coordinate, and then use my plan view to draw my box around the object. And then I can come back to my elevation view to make sure that I fully enclose it. So now that I have my box, I'm ready to perform my operation, create volume from intersection. I can select my box, draw a window around my object. You can see everything is selected, and once ready, right-click to confirm. Now again, this process might take a while, and it may look like the program is frozen or not working, but it is actually working in the background. So just be patient, let it do its thing, and you'll get your solid object in the end. Okay, so you'll probably get this message, which is fine. You can simply click OK. And there you go. You now have a 3D solid object in Allplan. So that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you very much, and enjoy working in Allplan.
Yeah, so you can see about the first 3D object we can draw, and now for the next.
Salutare! În acest videoclip vom vedea cum se pot face modificările 3D pentru un obiect importat. Dacă nu ați văzut tutorialul cu modalitatea în care se poate importa un obiect de pe internet în Allplan, vă sfătuiesc să vedeți clipul atașat în descriere. Așadar, haideți să vedem cum putem să modificăm acest element 3D care este un port prosop. Pentru asta, ce vom face prima dată este să mergem în meniul de construcții, modelare liberă, iar de la modelare liberă, în zona de acces rapid, vom desfășura opțiunile de la macro și vom apela funcția disociere macro. Iar printr-o fereastră de selecție verde vom cuprinde tot prosopul nostru, după care vom apăsa pe butonul aplicare, întrucât vrem să disociem tot macroul al prosopului. Da? Iar acum vedem că este împărțit în diferite suprafețe. Aceste suprafețe, eu putând în acest stadiu să le modific atât dimensiunile cât cât și suprafețele. O să fac acum un exemplu pentru o modificare de suprafață. Să zicem vreau acest element să îl fac negru. Pentru aceasta nu trebuie decât să merg în partea stângă, unde avem paleta de proprietăți a elementului selectat, evident, iar în zona de vizualizare avem suprafață, iar dacă mergem pe aceste 3 puncte, putem alege de aici orice suprafață dorim noi, să zicem voi alege pe aceasta, e perfect aleator, nu contează, acum vrem doar să vedem ca și exemplu, observați că are o altă textură, da? De asemenea se pot adăuga texturi importate și așa mai departe, fiecare element poate suporta orice textură. O să apăs tasta Ctrl-Z pentru că a fost doar ca exemplu și nu vrem să ne rămână așa. Vreau de asemenea să vă arăt că aceste elemente pot fi mutate printr-o selecție, le pot muta foarte simplu cu funcția de mutare, de unde până unde, țin tasta Shift pentru a-l muta pe aceeași zonă. Bun, Ctrl-Z pentru a reveni inițial. Tot la fel de simplu le putem și mări sau micșora cu ajutorul funcției de modificare puncte, spre exemplu. Pot selecta zona aceasta, iar aceste puncte eu vreau să le translatez, să zicem, vreau să le fac mai lungi. Ok, ok, ok. Și am modificat această piesă de prindere în perete.
Yes, so you can see the video show us for the 3D objects elements to be designed in the detail. And what you can see is we can set it up with our tools to decode about these elements in very detail, and then we can apply this into your building and the others. So the next is the last one. Yes. Yes, so you can follow the elements with the orders decor into them, and this is some kind of the boom. So you can design it into define how 3D objects will look in each view, and show more detail based on the section. And you can see the 3D objects in the 3D views, they define very clearly. And yes, OnBlend can give you the flexibility to define what and how items will look in the sections that go on your drawing sheets. That you can see they work it on the plan view and about the section. And after that, everything you implement into this, they will be appear into the 3D objects view. And that is everything about 3D objects in advance I can show you today. And thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, you can leave into the box Q&A. And if you have any question more deeply about technical with Allplan or some kind, like I can support you about the technical, just let me know your contact into the Q&A inbox also, and I will show you in more detail and more clarify into your email is better. And this is my contact number and the email from me also, so you can please don't be hesitate to contact me and leave your question. I will show you about the technical side and some kind of content. And this webinar today will be stop here. And if you don't have any question, so I will see you in the next month. So yes, please leave your contact if you have any needs to support from me. And thank you for the time today to attend the webinar. And yeah, see you later.